Testing, testing, testing. Welcome to the Crypto Boss Ninja channel. Let's look at Bitcoin. We are getting started here a half hour early, but I will be streaming for over a half hour, so it's all good. Welcome joining to the live stream. Let's look at Bitcoin. Actually, first off, we're going to start at the Fear and Greed Index. This is what I always start off with. Wow, we rocketed from about a 60 last week, a high 60 last week, to now the low 70s. And we are now in extreme greed, or very close to extreme greed. I think anything above 75 is extreme greed, but I'm not quite sure. Maybe it's anything above 80. Either way, we're getting closer to that, so be careful. And I will just leave it at that. So with that being said, I did enter a lot of positions, despite what I just said. I believe Bitcoin and I think altcoins in general are about to go parabolic. I think Bitcoin in general is probably going to go sideways, if not up a little bit. But I do believe altcoin season is around the corner, even though we are in greed. I think a lot of money is going to be flowing out of Bitcoin into altcoins, so I opened up 7 new positions today, and I don't ever do that. I'm bullish on a lot of assets. It's sketchy because you're overbought on the weekly, daily, and 3-day chart on a lot of time frames, but the smaller time frames look juicy, and really the smaller time frames can pin the higher time frames, so that's what I'm looking for. So the biggest one that is going to be a long-term hold that I made a video about earlier today was Gala Coin. This is going to be a hold if I don't get stopped out for the rest of the bull run. And we'll see what happens with that. I entered at 21. It is a little bit lower than that right now. It's a 15x leverage trade on all of these. I also entered a trade on Luna today. I entered a trade on Dion Coin, which is a meme coin today. I entered a trade on Casper today. I entered a trade on FET Coin today. And I entered a trade on ICP. We'll see what happens. I'll keep you guys up to date on what happens with these coins. Gala just got a golden cross here on the 12-hour time frame. That was the reason I entered the trade here. Or I'm front running the golden cross that will probably happen here in about a day. Anytime the 21-day moving average, which is the orange line, crosses the 200-day moving average, it's very bullish, and usually you get massive moves to the upside out of it. Anytime, and I like trading on any time frame between the 15-minute chart to the daily chart. So that's what I'm looking at for. That's why I entered the Gala trade. So those are the trades I'm in. But let's go over to Bitcoin and look at what Bitcoin's doing. Like I said, I expect Bitcoin to probably go sideways, if not up a little bit, but I don't expect really much of a correction on Bitcoin. We'll see what happens. Here's the thing, though. You could see a correction based on the fact that you are overbought on the weekly time frame, but you are putting in a higher high, so that is a good sign. And if you keep going to the upside, I'm really looking for the next resistance on Bitcoin to be, let me make sure I'm on the right chart. I'm looking for the next resistance on Bitcoin to be $35,900, as well as, let me just zoom in here a little bit, as well as before that, 35,930, and then above that 37.2 is the resistances for Bitcoin. If I go look at the 3-day chart, you can see that you are also overbought on the 3-day chart, and maybe making a rising wedge. So I did talk about that. The measure move for that is $39,500. So again, 3-day chart, it is overbought. But you know what I'm really bullish about? I'm really bullish about the fact that the daily chart has now completely reset on the RSI, and it is making a higher low. And it's actually, like I said, it's kind of in a rising wedge, but to me, it just looks really bullish. And rising wedges, if they do want to break out, they break out parabolically. Measure move out of this rising wedge could take you above 40,000. So we'll see what happens. The daily 3-day chart and weekly look sketchy because they're overbought, but the daily chart looks extremely bullish to me on Bitcoin because you're in like a flag and the RSI is oversold and you got no correction to the downside really. The 12-hour chart right now is also looking bullish to me on Bitcoin. It is oversold as well. The 6-hour chart looks decently bullish. It's still in the flag, and the 4-hour chart is oversold as well, making a higher low. So I like what I'm seeing on these time frames. 1-hour chart's kind of going sideways. I'm assuming the 15 is as well. But if I go back, let's go to the 4-hour chart. If Bitcoin can hold this local low here at 34,000, if Bitcoin holds 34,000, I am looking for a possible move on the weekly time frame all the way up to 41.2. That might take a few weeks to play out, and in the meantime, I believe all coins can run. We'll see what happens. We'll see how right or wrong I am about that, but that's what I'm looking for on Bitcoin. If I don't see Bitcoin losing 34K, and if it does lose 34K, I would be looking for 33,340 and then 32,445. I think if Bitcoin loses 34K, you're going back to 30K. But if you hold 34K, I see a bigger move on Bitcoin on the daily chart and on the weekly chart. So that's my analysis. And for the next week or so, I'm expecting Bitcoin to go sideways and altcoins to run. So that is my opinion. I think we're going to have a mini altcoin season, and that's why I loaded it up on 7 positions today. And yeah. So if you guys have requests for altcoins, do let me know in the comment section below, and I will look at them. We are live on YouTube as well, and we have so go check it out. It's Crypto Boss Andrew there, and join the Telegram group. Link to join that is in the description below. So let's go over the coins that I did buy. I bought 7 coins today, and I bought 7 coins today. The first one being, not in any order, but I did buy ICP. The smaller time frames look good to me. This is a higher low on the 15-minute chart. Let me make sure you guys can see this. This is a higher low on the 15-minute chart. Why is it doing that? I don't need... Hold on. All right, there we go. It's a higher low on the 15-minute chart right now. It looks good to me. And the 1-hour chart on ICP is looking good as well. It's kind of honestly in a massive uptrend. You're above the 200-day moving average on the 1-hour chart. I like that. 1-hour chart looks like it wants to make a higher low on ICP. The 4-hour chart looks all right to me as well. Not as good though. So I'm really entering this trade based off the 15-minute and the 1-hour chart. The daily chart also has more steam to go to the upside. And so I'm like what I see on ICP on the 1-hour and the 15. That's why I entered the trade. My stop loss is at $4. And my liquidation is right below that. So really though, I might want to move my stop loss right here to 414 because that's where you have support, and I could, it's pretty close to 414 at $4, I guess. But if you lose $4.14, really you're probably gonna come back down to this local low here at $4, and it would stop me out then. So I might, after this stream, I'll probably move my stop to like 410, at least 410. Because honestly, if you lose 410, you're making a lower low anyway, and you're gonna probably go to back to $4. So I'll move my stop loss. I'm gonna make a note of that. So my stop loss is gonna be raised on ICP up to 410. But overall, that is kind of what I'm looking at. ICP, it looks good to me. I'm just gonna remember to do that after the live stream. So that's the first trade I'm in. The second of the 7 trades I'm in is FETcoin. FETcoin looks good to me as well. The 15-minute chart again. We'll see what happens. The 15 did make a lower high. So I thought I was buying the dip, but right now we'll see what happens. Let's look at the 1-hour chart right now. So I'm not saying all these are going to play out, but what I like is that you had kind of like a falling wedge here on the 1-hour chart, and 1-hour chart isn't completely oversold, so it might continue down. But overall, if you stay above 37 cents, I'll still be in the trade, and it's pretty much that simple. If the 1-hour chart does make this falling wedge and continue to the upside, you really can be, if it wants to work. FETcoin can really be looking for a move all the way up to between 43 and 44 cents, and on 15x leverage, that's a nice move. So that's a falling wedge right now on FETcoin, maybe trying to get the bounce right now. I would think this one RSI needs to come all the way down and reset, but that is something I am looking for on FET. Now, if you lose, honestly, this level at 37.8, it's going to be sketchy, but my stop is 37, and yeah. I got in at 39, so it's kind of, I'm down a little bit on this one as well, but I did enter only an hour ago. We'll see what happens. Maybe I'll get burned, but or maybe I'll make a lot of money. Oh my! And now Casper. What 15-minute chart is starting to fall. I don't like the fact you just made a lower low. That doesn't look good to me. But again, if only one of these trades plays out and it plays out massively, you'll pay for the other 6 that I lost on. The 1-hour chart looks really good to me. That's why I entered the trade. I entered at 387 and now it's at 383. So it doesn't look great. Had to move all the way down to 378. But again, I only need to win one of these trades really to be okay. And if they all play out, which is unlikely, then I'll make a lot of money. But the 4-hour chart could dump on your face as well, so it's a higher risk trade. Although what I could project here is right now on Casper coin, falling wedge here, or maybe just a flag. Yeah, I would say it's more like a falling wedge. It could dump, but this is something I'd be projecting as a possible falling wedge on Casper, and that could boom to the upside. And I have insurance room. My stop loss is 36.6. So not a lot of insurance room, but if it were to make the falling wedge or bull flag and continue up, I would still be in the trade. If it loses 36, I'm going to negate the trade. If it loses 366, I'm going to negate the trade, and then you're probably going to fall down to 363, and then below that you could fall down to this low at 348. But so far, that's what I'm projecting the 4-hour chart on Casper, a possible flag and a possible move to the upside as high as 415. Donnie is a meme coin. I entered another trade on this. This has lower volume, but I did enter this trade based on the fact that the 15, it's been in a nice uptrend on the 15-minute chart. So that's one reason, but obviously I'm looking the higher time frame. So 1 hour chart is getting overbought, so be cautious about that. The 4 hour chart is getting overbought as well. But here's the thing: the daily chart is ready to cook on this, and you already have a nice move up. And now, honestly, what I see this on the daily chart is a flag. So I'm looking for, you have your flag pull, and then that's your flag. And Diana in a few days could rip to the upside. My measure move out of this, and maybe it's already starting to break out. It probably is, considering the fact that the daily is so oversold. That could take you like to 53, 54. That's almost a 100% move up. Or no, it's a 50% move up, my bad. And on 15x leverage, that's an 8x for me on my $50. So, you know, that turn $50 into like 200 or maybe be $400. So we'll see what happens, but that's what I'm looking for on Diane. On Luna coin right now, a 15-minute chart is oversold, making well, it's kind of double bottom maybe. Doesn't look great. The 1 hour chart is also not looking great. A lot of the reasons these coins have just dipped recently is the fact Bitcoin just went down $150. That's not helping my situation either. 1 hour chart's getting ready to dump. 4 hour chart's getting ready to dump. I don't like that, so this trade might not work out. But again, the daily chart looks juicy, making a lower high, that's for sure, but now making a higher high. It could be a symmetrical triangle. And Luna Classic, a meme coin, or not even really a meme coin, it used to be a great coin, and then the dump happened. But Luna Classic, or Luna coin I should say, it's kind of pushing it to be a symmetrical triangle, I would say. But that is what I'm looking for on Luna, is a move to the upside. I would actually probably negate the symmetrical triangle. But if it does go to the upside, your measure move is 6673. Based on the daily chart being so oversold, I would expect that move to happen. So Luna coin looks good on the daily, as does Diane. And the last one, like I said, if I don't get stopped out of this trade, this is the trade I was going to hold long term for the rest of the bull run, is Gala. Now, my stop loss on Gala is 20 cents. No, it's lower than that, I think. Maybe I'd have to look. I feel like it's lower than that. I'd have to go look and see. But if I don't get stopped out of this trade, this is the trade I was going to hold for the next year or two, because I only put $10 in the trade on 25x leverage, so we'll see what happens. If I get liquidated, I get liquidated. That's literally just a $10 trade. The other ones, so this is 25x on $10. The other ones are all $15 on $50. So that's the trades I'm entering. I don't remember the last time I've ever been in 7 trades at once, if ever. So we'll see what happens. And that's what's Bitcoin doing on the 15. Let's go back to Bitcoin. Bitcoin on the 15 is trying to make a higher low, but it's also possibly losing the 200-day moving average, although based on the fact you're oversold, I would hope for a bounce here on the 15-minute chart. The question is, can you get back above 35,170? If you can't, that's going to be a lower high. So Bitcoin on the 15-minute chart, when it gets a bounce here, if it gets a bounce here, can't break 35,170, I'd be bearish, and that would be a bad sign for the bulls. 1 hour chart has more steam to the upside. The 4 hour chart is getting oversold, so that could get a bounce here soon as well. Thank you for the follow, Terry. So that's what I'm looking for. If Bitcoin can hold, though, I just said it right here. I'll say it again. If Bitcoin holds 34,000, and you could even really say 34,300 if you wanted to be more aggressive, I'm looking for a higher move up on Bitcoin on the, because it looks like it's about to break out of this rising wedge. Now, if it does want to dump to the downside, rising wedges do break down 68% of the time. In bull markets, they tend to break up more than down. Although we are overbought on the daily, so be cautious. The measure move to the downside would be 28.5. So I believe if Bitcoin loses 34,300, Bitcoin's going below 30K. But if Bitcoin can hold 34.3, I, on the larger time frames, am looking for a massive move up, possibly above 40K. So 34.3 is at least my line in the sand for a massive move down or up. And it's not going to happen immediately, maybe, but it'd be like my massive. 34.3 is the determination line of if we have another few $1,000 move to the upside of Bitcoin, or a $5,000 drop, or something like that. That's just how I see the market, But and then obviously Bitcoin rips to the upside. Altcoins might bleed out a little bit while all the money's going back into Bitcoin, but overall, then money will flow back into alts. Now, if Bitcoin dumps, the whole market will dump. So I would rather see Bitcoin go sideways so alts can pump, or if Bitcoin does want to go up, I'd rather it go up than dump. But I think most people would agree with that. If you guys have requests for altcoins, let me know in the comment section below, and I will look at them. I'm going to see if I missed any comments. And thank you guys for the likes as well. Wife and have been just buying and holding, but really want to learn how to trade like this. Hit the follow button then. So ICP, please. I think we just talked about that. That's what I'm long on. Let's go back up. I want to make sure I didn't miss any others. Otherwise, I know someone asked about Casper, which I already went over. That might have been it, honestly. All right, let me see if anyone's on YouTube watching. Nope, we do. We got 2 people watching and 1 like. So, all right, we're doing all right there. Casper, I don't know a lot about the coin. I just know that it's really hot. Wait, actually, I didn't talk about Casper yet, so I can go over and talk about Casper. Let's go look at Casper. It's at the top, isn't it? So Casper right now, yesterday made a new all-time high. I'll make a video about this. Why not? Testing, testing, testing. Come on. Come on. All right, welcome to the Crypto Boss Ninja channel. Let's look at Casper coin. It made a new all-time high yesterday, and honestly, if I clear this up a little bit and just get rid of all this mumbo-jumbo, we can just recycle these lines. This looks good to me for a continuation to the upside. Nothing's guaranteed, so not financial advice or anything, but on the 4-hour time frame, it looks like it's making a flag and continuing up. Bear with me while I'm trying to figure these lines out. It does not, my mouse is being sketchy. All right, so 4-hour chart looks like it wants to rip in a bull pennant. That's what I like to see. Nothing is guaranteed, but altcoins are doing really well right now. And hold on, there we go. So that's the measure move from the top, from the low of the wick to the top of the wick, and then you take that line, put it up here, if it lets me. Be patient with it. Measure move is 84 on Casper coin. That's a, I don't know, roughly a 30% move, I would suppose. That would be a nice trade on Casper. The risk to the downside is that you have liquidity zones down here where, you know, the candles didn't touch, basically. So you do have a gap down there, so be cautious. But the fact the 4-hour chart is oversold, independent, and at the bottom of the pattern makes me think you're going to get moved to the upside. But again, nothing's guaranteed. Let's go look at the daily. Daily's ready to dump, so again, be cautious on this. But they usually break up 68% of the time, and bull runs is probably even more than that. 3-day chart's getting overbought, and the weekly chart is getting overbought as well. The 1-hour chart for Casper is, it's kind of sketchy right now. Not really getting much of a bounce. The 15-minute chart, same thing. Although the 15 looks better than the 1 hour, trying to make a higher low, now that you need the 1 hour to cooperate. 1 hour looks okay too, though, if I'm being honest. I like what the 4 hours is doing. I like what the 6 hours, no, 6 hour is overbought, but I do like the 4-hour time frame and everything less. And that's what I'm looking at for Casper. If it wants to break to the upside, I'm looking for a possible move to the low to mid 80s. And I would say this though, your invalidation point is 32. If you lose 32, it's game over, because then you'd be losing the pattern. But I also know that 32 is support, so we'll see what happens. So that's it for Casper. That's all I got. If you guys enjoyed this, appreciate if you hit the like, subscribe, share this video with your friends. I'll see you guys in the next update. That is Casper. I like Casper. It looks good on the 4-hour time frame. So Dogecoin, thank you for the follows. So Dogecoin was the next request. DOGE. We'll do the Coinbase chart. Usually I don't do the Coinbase chart, but I'm just going back through the trades I'm in right now and trying to see how they're doing. The 15-minute chart on Luna's oversold, but it's, wow. I feel like they're all in the red. Hold on, we're going to look at Doge next. I'm just trying to go back to the 15-minute chart on all my time frames and see how they're doing. 32.7. So I'm in the money on that one on Diane coin. Casper, I entered at 387, I think, so that's in the red. FET coin, I'm definitely in the red by a little bit, not by much. And ICP, and then we'll go over to Casper. I'm in the red by a lot on that. My stop loss is 414. I might get stopped out of that. We need to get the bounce here on the 15-minute chart for that. Let's go over and look at Dogecoin. Dogecoin on the weekly time frame right now. Dogecoin is getting overbought on the weekly time frame, making a lower high, so be cautious. This is your resistance line on the weekly time frame. You're already at resistance. Look at that. You've touched that 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 4. Now 5 times. Can you break it on the 5th time? Is the 5th time the charm? That is a downsloping resistance on Dogecoin. You have to break that on the weekly time frame. The 3-day chart is overbought at the top of the channel. The daily chart is overbought. Actually, daily chart has more steam. Can you break the 200-day moving average now on the daily chart? I mean, that's the 200 SMMA, the smooth moving average, but can you break 80? If you can break 80, you could have liftoff. The 4-hour chart for Dogecoin is overbought, but making a higher high. That's a good sign. Now, if you break, I'll say if you break 80, you're going to go up to 1048. So basically 10.5. So that's the line you have to break. The 1 hour chart trying to make a higher low. 1 hour chart, smaller time frames, when you have breakouts is what you have to watch for. The 1 hour chart would suggest you're going to make a higher low, and then you could break out. I bet the 15 minutes flagging out without even looking at, just looking at the 1 hour chart. Is it flagging out? Not great. You could kind of draw a box here, say it is. That's kind of pushing it, honestly. Doesn't look great to me. I would be sketched. I mean, this looks like it's going to dump here. The 15-minute chart doesn't look great. If the 15-minute chart loses 7.3, you're losing the 21-day moving average. You can expect at least a move back to 7.16. Nothing crazy. But if you break 8.0, I'm looking for a bigger move up. But based on the daily chart, I know altcoins are breaking out. You have to break 80 to be bullish. If you don't break 80, I'm looking for a move back to 70. And if you don't hold 70, then I would expect to move back to the low and make a new low, back to 55. If you break 80, again, 10.5 is your move. And then above that, 13.8, and then so on. That's what I'm looking at for Dogecoin on the Coinbase chart. Looks good. Doesn't look great because you have to break 80. If you break 80, I'd be interested. I'll set an alert at 80 cents, or at 8 cents, I should say. And we'll go from there. So keep it simple, not rocket science. XLM, let's look at XLM. XLM was I liked XLM in last bull run. I didn't do nothing crazy. And I bought it at 9 cents. I sold around 70 or 80. I don't even remember anymore. I won't be buying it again because I think there's better coins out there for bigger returns. But so this is actually one of the altcoins. Now that this is the weekly chart, this is one of the altcoins that is oversold on the weekly time frame. That is interesting. It's in a falling wedge. Let me zoom in a little bit. This actually looks really interesting for a possible move to the upside. XLM could be a big good buy. You got your bounce off support at 9.8. So that's a good sign. The 3-day chart right now is overbought. Be cautious. The daily chart's overbought. Be cautious. Although you are above the 200-day moving average, I like that. The 4-hour time frame for XLM is overbought, making a higher high. That's a good sign. Can you make the higher low above 11.6? If you hold 11.6, or say you 12 cents is the low on the 4-hour time frame before you get the bounce, that'd be really bullish. And if we go back to the daily chart, where's the next resistance on XLM? You could say the next resistance is really about 16 cents on XLM. So XLM looks really bullish to me on the weekly time frame. I don't think there's many altcoins out there that really look bullish to me on the weekly time frame. XLM is one of them in a massive falling wedge, and it looks really good. If you take your move from the high to the last local low, and then you get your downtrend that you have already broken, keep it pretty simple again. The daily chart is suggesting you could go up to 22 cents before getting a pullback. Nothing's guaranteed, right? But that is what the daily chart is suggesting. And above 16 cents, your next resistance, I would say, would be about 24 cents. So we'll see what happens. You could honestly even go to 24 cents based on that. You have an inefficiency up there at 25 cents. So you could get a parabolic move to 25 cents up there. You see it. So XLM looks extremely good. I'm not going to say it's getting a double, but 25 cents is possible. The measured move is 22, but your next resistance in the area of the most liquidity to the upside is 25 cents. So I would not be surprised at all if in a few weeks you saw a move to 25 cents. It has a higher market cap, not huge actually, so it could go to 25 cents fast. It just doesn't move very fast from my past experience. But that's all I got. XLM looks really good on the weekly time frame. One of the altcoins that still is oversold on the weekly time frame. That is pretty interesting to me. Aimbot? What is Aimbot? I didn't type that right. AIMBOT. Well, this looks like a scam coin. Maybe it's not. 3-day chart is already getting overbought. I can tell you right now, the 3-day chart, based on how fast that's going up and how small that... Just a second. I can tell you that that's going to make a lower high on the 3-day time frame. The daily chart right now is overbought, making a lower high as well. So be cautious. Now, the daily chart is trying to break the 21-day moving average. That's a good sign. The 4-hour chart, what is that doing? It's above the 200-day moving average. But there's no liquidity on this. I would stay away from it, and I'm not even going to talk about it anymore because I can see there's no liquidity even on the 4-hour time frame. But, yeah. It dumped from all the way up there at $150 all the way down to $7 and some change. So, I mean, if you're a degenerate, sure, it looks really good. But, I mean, you can't even chart that, really. So, I'll leave it at that. There's no liquidity. I would stay away from it personally. But, yeah. Why is there no chat? What is going on? Why is my chat? I gotta refresh this now. And, I mean, my chat is gone. What happened? Can you look at Pickle Finance? Sure, Craig. Pickle. Is it called Pickle Coin? FIN. What's the ticker for it? Because I don't see anything for Pickle. Is it Pickle USDT maybe? I don't know. Yeah, I think it is. Oh my god. This doesn't look good either. This looks even worse than the last chart we looked at. Come on, Craig. Below the 21-day moving average on the weekly time frame, there's not a lot to talk about. Guys, this thing started, whatever it is, started at $36, now you're at 70 cents. I mean, come on. 3-day chart, lower high, probably a lack of liquidity as well, just like in the last coin. The daily chart right now, same thing. I don't know what there's to talk about. Making a lower low. I don't even want to look at this. This is like a scam. No offense, but it looks horrific. It looks worse than the last coin we just looked at. It looks bad. I would not buy that. So, hold on. I think I missed. What are we longing? I just talked about. If you guys are watching me on YouTube, you can go back and rewatch it. Fetch AI. I think I just talked about Fetch at the beginning of the stream. Again, we're on YouTube, so you can rewatch it. Ran a 20x leverage on XRP. Well, I mean, this market's bullish, so that's sketchy. Although, again, we are in greed. I just don't think we should be shorting right now. If you're going to look to short, I would wait on the sidelines. If you don't want to be long, I would wait on the sidelines, at least for Bitcoin to get a rejection. GRT, INJ, I've already talked about that. I know I have, haven't I? Yeah. Maybe not. I thought I did. I'm not in a... INJ. Have we not talked about INJ yet? Maybe not. INJ. I guess not. I thought we did. I'm just going through my trades again, seeing which ones are up. They all seem to be down right now. Oh my. Alright, INJ. The 1 hour chart looks good to me. I can just tell you right off the bat that is a falling wedge. Measure move out of that falling wedge. Why is TradingView doing this? It won't like it's okay. Measure move out of that falling wedge is approximately $19 even. I know I overdid that line a little bit, but you get the idea. You're above the 21-day moving average on the 1 hour time frame. Looks good to me. The 4 hour time frame is overbought, it's gonna make a lower high. Not overbought. It's about to be oversold, I should say, in a few hours, probably about 8 to 10 hours, I would say, but 11 hours actually. You have an inefficiency down there at 1644. No, not financial advice. That could be a great place to long. Daily chart though is looking really, really bullish, but at the same time like it's gonna dump because that's a rising wedge. They break up 38% of the time. They break down 68% of the time. In a bull run, it's usually they break up. Or more times than not. I would just be very cautious. Usually rising wedges break down to where they started, which was all the way down at $7. So to me, you gotta have a tight stop loss if you want to try to buy in now. But again, if you go to the smaller time frames, there are places to buy on. 3-day charts overbought, weekly's overbought. I would watch this one, INJ, smaller time frames, because the 1 hour chart does look bullish. So you could definitely probably long in this and have a stop at 17 and be okay. Wait, no, I mean 16. So that looks okay to me. Not great, but okay. GRT is another one you guys like. Let's go look at GRT on Mexc. I'm going to start on the weekly time frame and work my way down. Weekly's overbought. 3-day is overbought. Daily. This thing's going parabolic. You're above the 200 moving average. That's a good sign. The 4 hour chart is well above it. 1 hour chart's making a higher low, it looks like, or at least it looks like it's about to. 15 is making a higher low. That's bullish. Let's go back to the 3-day chart and see where our next resistance is. So this is what happened on GRT. It broke out of a massive falling wedge, and you gotta move to the upside. Take it from the high to the low. Is it move over? Well, it might be. Actually, no, it's not even close to me over. GRT could probably keep going here all the way up to as high as 25, 26, 27, 28 cents. Measure moves are about 27 cents, so it could still go up higher, but 3-day chart might, before you go to 27 cents, might get a pullback back to 10 cents before that happens. So be cautious. This is looking like on the larger time frames, it's not over, but smaller time frames definitely probably need a pullback. Yeah. Litecoin. We'll do the Binance chart because it's, you know, easy to look at. I don't know what's going on with Litecoin, so let's start on the weekly time frame, and I'll zoom down. Weekly time frame probably about to make a lower high unless you break $120. The 3-day time frame is overbought. Daily time frame is overbought. Are you going to make a lower high or get pinned? We'll see. You have to break $80 to be bullish on Litecoin because that's where the 200-day moving average is. If we go to the 4-hour time frame, right now on Litecoin, you're above the 200-day moving average, so I like that as well. 1-hour chart, what is going on? 1-hour chart is, again, going up. And the 15-minute chart right now is trying to make some sort of falling wedge, but that's kind of dumping too fast for me to like that as a falling wedge. Although, that's a higher low, so I would play the trend and say that that's probably going to continue to the upside. Your measured move on Litecoin would be $78 out of this falling wedge here. So Litecoin looks good, but it's, yeah, I don't see a lot of patterns. So I mean, there's probably better ones to buy, especially because the higher time frames are overbought. But that's what I'm looking at for Litecoin. I'm not looking at oil. So we're only looking at cryptos right now. I'm not liking what's going on with this. My stop loss is $4.14, so maybe I'm still okay. We need the 15 to get the balance. It's looking like that's actually about to happen. Fetch AI. You know, here's the thing. I bought all these about an hour ago when they're all overbought in the 15. I shouldn't have done that. That was probably my first problem. The 15 on Fetch is oversold. But, I mean, they're longer-term trades, so that's why I didn't really look at it. The CSRP, same thing, although I could see this coming, flagging out, and then rallying. We'll see it. You're at the top of the channel, but, yeah, I don't know. 15's oversold on Casper. Diane is now. So this is at least one of the ones that is in the green. I entered at 327. Now we're at 332. Again, thank you. And this is a trade I'm down on. Entered at 48. We're at 47. My stop is 45.5. And Gal, again, this is a longer term trade. Got entered at 21 and at break even right now. So, anyways, yeah, that's all I got. So, do you think the crypto market will be dumped soon? Well, a lot of coins are overbought, but I don't think that's going to matter. We're not extreme greedy right now, and Bitcoin is consolidating bullishly, and I would wait for Bitcoin to break down on the day. Let's go back to Bitcoin. Unless Bitcoin, I'm gonna say this: if this, then that, and keep it simple, not rocket science. If Bitcoin can hold 33,000, I'm sorry, I think I mean 34,300, and I'll put a line in the sand right here so we can like kind of see what I'm talking about. If Bitcoin can hold this area right here, it's a kind of sideways box, but you get the picture. I can move it up in there. So Bitcoin can hold this level right here. Oh my gosh. Just delete that because that was my trade entry. If Bitcoin holds this level right here at the bottom of this triangle at 30, I need to bring that down a little bit because I said 34,300. Yeah, so that's what I would look for right now on Bitcoin. If you can hold that at 34, you could even really say 34,000 if you want to be more conservative. If Bitcoin stays about $34,000, I don't see the markets dumping. If Bitcoin loses 34,000, 33.3 is your next stop, 32.445 is your next stop, and I think that would confirm that you have broken to the downside out of a rising wedge, which typically happens overall in markets 68% of the time they dump. So there's a 60% chance if you want to go by the stats that we dump, but we're on a more bullish market, so I would say it's more like, you know, a 50-50 chance at this point. So if you lose 34K, I would look for a bigger move to the downside. We'll see what happens. But if you can hold this channel on the 4-hour time frame and continue higher, and especially if you get above 36K, I'd be looking for a move higher all the way into the 40s. So right now, I would not say the market's going to dump unless we see a massive dump on Bitcoin. And right now, I'm not seeing that. I see I know the Bitcoin dominance is going down as well, which means altcoins can really rally. The thing that worries me is that a lot of coins, even altcoins, are overbought on the higher time frames and making lower highs. Some are making new all-time highs like Casper, but most aren't. But I still do see, based on the charts I'm in, I believe a boom is coming, and that's why I'm in 7 trades right now, which I don't remember. I don't think I've ever been in 7 trades at one time. It is sketchy because a lot of these are overbought on the higher time frames, but I believe there can be at least one more move to the upside before you see a move to the downside. So I don't think Bitcoin's going to dump right now unless we see a move below 34,000. I don't go off my emotions. I go off what the chart's telling me. So if you guys have requests for one more coin, I'll do it. Otherwise, I'm going to get on out of here. I'll be back live 7 p.m. Central Time on Saturday. And thank you guys for the likes. Let me check YouTube one more time. If there's no more streaming or no more requests, I'm going to end it on YouTube. And I'll be back live on Saturday. Until then, trade safe and have a great week. And I will post that video